Saying no isn't selfish. It's sacred. Yes, sacred. Because every time you say no to what drains you, you are saying yes to the things and the feelings that keep you and have you feel most alive. In this video, you will learn why saying no feels so hard, how to set boundaries and work through the guilt that comes up when you do, and how putting yourself first can actually make all your relationships much stronger. Hi, my name is Ana Del Castillo. I am a certified trauma-educated and informed coach who helps successful women break free from the patterns of codependency and people-pleasing. I know this work inside and out because I've lived it, and now I guide women to feel right in themselves and create relationships that are truly mutual and fulfilling. All right, let's get into why is saying no so hard? I mean, because really it's a two-letter word. Saying no should be simple. I mean, saying no is fine, but then in the moment, it's very, very challenging. For so many of us, it triggers panic, guilt, shame. Why? Because we learned very early on as a child that love and safety were conditional. Maybe, like me, you grew up in a home where being good meant keeping everyone around us happy, where conflict, and saying no is conflict, meant danger, and where love was given for compliance, not authenticity. So your nervous system learned at a young age that saying no equaled rejection, that boundaries also equaled danger, and that disappointing someone meant that you could lose belonging with your family, with your community. It was bad news for you. And that's why even as a child, when you try to say no, your body will react as though your life depends on keeping the peace with people. And saying yes keeps the peace. I'll tell you a story about my life. There was a time for about 15 years, especially after my father and my brother passed, where I used to say yes to everything. Friends, families, lovers, even when I didn't want to. And even though I was bone tired. And I told myself that I was being good, I was being kind. But underneath all that goodness and kindness was fear, was terror. Fear that if I said no, I'd be punished, I'd be abandoned, or I'd be labeled as difficult, bad. So instead of saying no to others, I said no to myself over and over and over again. And you can imagine the kind of life experience I had at the time. It's like, listen, if you're a tree and we're bending over backwards to find everybody else's sunlight, eventually we become unrooted and we lose our own center and then wonder why we can't stand up tall for ourselves. So the guilt that we feel when we say no is not a sign that we're actually doing something wrong. It's a sign that we're doing something new. Maybe also I want to suggest that you're not actually guilty. Maybe you're rewiring your nervous system for self-respect. This is exactly what we practice in the Women's Rightness Dojo. We teach the body, your body, how to honor itself, how it's safe to disappoint others, and it's safe to take up space. And the shift, that's the shift that we're all craving. And if that's something that you're craving too, the link is below. Okay, so if saying no can feel terrifying, what does it actually look like and feel like to say no with power and clarity and guilt-free without apology? Like, what does a healthy boundary actually look like? All right, so healthy boundaries, they're not walls. They're clarity. You're giving clarity for yourself and clarity to another person. They're not about rejection. They're about connection. A boundary says, this is how I can stay in relationship with you and at the same time stay in integrity with myself. So over-giving, people-pleasing, over-explaining, those aren't generosity. It's not generous when we do that. They're literally self-abandonment. We're no longer in relationship with ourselves, only we dress it up as kindness. We dress it up as pretty. Like, real kindness does not require our own self-abandonment or self-erasure. Like, this was also true for me too, but I had a client who would visit her mother every single weekend, and whenever she would think about saying no, it would bring up a lot of panic. And we worked on a simple sentence, which was, Mom, I love seeing you, but I need weekends to rest. Let's plan once a month instead. She totally expected her mother's disappointment to break her. But it didn't break her. I mean, her body would shake like in the beginning, at the sensation of choosing herself. For a little bit, she did that. But then eventually she literally felt relief because boundaries don't break relationships. They reveal which relationships can hold the truth and the authenticity of who we are. And healthy boundaries sound like this. That doesn't work for me. I can't help you with that. But I can help you with this. It sounds like I'm not available for that right now. No apology, no 3-paragraph explanation, just your truth spoken calmly. Because your self-respect doesn't require permission from anyone. If you are ready to stop abandoning yourself and choosing yourself in your full rightness, this is the exact work that we do in the Women's Rightness Dojo. And you can find out more information in the link below. Okay, so let's talk about how to start putting yourself first in your daily life, especially if it feels completely foreign, all right? So here are the first few steps. Putting yourself first doesn't mean that others stop mattering. It means that you matter too. Here's where it's not a competition where someone matters more and you matter less. No, it means that you have to matter to have everybody else matter. So here's where to start. Number 1 is check your body first before you say yes. Just check it. Pause. Breathe for 5 seconds. Does your body feel open and relaxed? Or does it feel tight and anxious? If your body feels tight and anxious, don't say yes. Your body's always telling you the truth. Just go right now. I have to pause because my body is just not feeling a yes. Number 2, start with micro boundaries. Maybe it's not answering texts right away. Maybe it's just taking 5 minutes, 10 minutes alone before helping anybody else. Like these small acts of self-honoring build a tolerance for your own anxiety around freedom. It's just little micro moves. Number 3, I think it's important that we redefine selfish. The word selfish was given to women who stopped abandoning themselves. So from now on, let selfish mean self-sustaining, self-full. I'm full of loving self. So redefine the word selfish. Because when you start putting yourself first, yes, guilt will show up. I can't promise you that it's not. Expect it. It's the echo of the old identity that is dying off. But you need to breathe through it because you are evolving. It's proof that you're evolving. You might assume that people will be mad. Maybe they will when you start to say no. That may happen. But what may surprise you is that maybe some of them will suddenly be like, you know what? I love you and I will adapt. Because when you start to say no, new people will show up. People who respect your energy. Because that's what happens when you choose rightness with yourself over the approval of others. The wrong ones will fall away and the right ones will draw closer. Again, I genuinely want to reiterate that saying no isn't selfish. It is sacred. Every time you honor your limits, you build self-trust. Every time you say no from truth, from authenticity, you strengthen love built on honesty, not obligation. And every time you put yourself first, you teach the world how to meet you. The guilt you may feel now as you start to say no will eventually, I swear to you about this, will eventually turn into gratitude because one day you will look around at a life filled with relationships that don't drain you and you will realize this is what love and self-respect feels like and looks like. So you are not losing people, you are finding yourself. Okay, so now that you've learned the building blocks to saying no without, or at least to learn to work through the guilt and start putting yourself first, maybe you've wondered why it feels so hard to stop saying yes, even when you're exhausted. In my next video, I will show you the hidden survival pattern behind overgiving and how to finally break through that. I'll see you over there.